Bremen, so the question you asked me on the phone, I'm going to answer it in a second, but I want to do a quick test. So I'm going to feed you balls from that side. I want you to hit forehands cross court, and you try your best.
Okay.
You know, of course, you want to have consistency, but also play with as much power and intensity as you can.
Okay.
One more time. Okay, good. So the question that you asked me on the phone, where you played a match against the guy that you beat, who was kind of like a dinker pusher, and you were so exhausted after the match that you couldn't imagine playing another one for a while. And at the same time, the guy that you played went on and played a doubles match in the afternoon.
Exactly. No, right away.
Right away.
Right away.
Even worse.
Right away.
And so it's frustrating, and this guy was not even in that great of a shape, right?
No.
Okay. So there was a student of mine, I'll never forget this story. I was working with him, and he had very lazy footwork, and he wasn't moving at all. And I was telling him, look, you have to play with more intensity. You have to move your feet. And he said, Nick, when I do that, I get tired. So I don't want to do that.
No, exactly.
Okay, so you can play energy-saving tennis, where you just kind of stand there. And at some levels, you might be able to get away with that. But it's a huge limiting factor to your development, and you're going to stagnate.
Exactly.
And once you reach certain levels of tennis, even at the rec level, when you get towards 4-5, 5-0, without proper footwork, your technique is going to fall apart big time, because technique becomes irrelevant if you're not set up at the ball.
Exactly.
When the pace of the incoming ball increases, the feet become much more important. So the way you're playing, this was a test. Because a lot of players, when I feed them balls like this to the forehand, they can do this for a half hour without getting tired. But the reality is, even though you're not running at all, you're basically hitting stationary forehands, and you got completely exhausted after 2-3 minutes. That's exactly what's supposed to happen, and that would happen even to the pros. Get exhausted because every forehand you're hitting, you're going here, bam! There's intensity, and that's exactly how you should be playing tennis. Now, you're frustrated because you're doing that, and you're getting tired, and you're getting exhausted. So the trick to solving this problem is not to stop doing this because you're doing it the right way, but to increase your stamina and also increase your recovery time in between the points, where you can do this for hours.
Exactly.
And you can do this in 2 consecutive matches back to back.
Exactly.
That's the key. And the way you're going to develop this is through doing tennis-specific exercises. It can all be done on the court, because a lot of people, to get into better tennis shape, they start doing exercise off the court to improve their explosiveness, their balance, their speed. They start jumping on boxes, they start doing the ladders, and while that's going to make you a better athlete for sure, will that improve the tennis-specific movements and fitness? Maybe indirectly so, but not directly. So the only way to improve your stamina and improve these movements is to actually do them as often as possible. And this is a beautiful example of someone who is an elite athlete, a professional bodybuilder, and you admitted yourself that you're not in that great of a tennis shape, even though you're a perfect athlete in perfect athletic shape. Still, the tennis shape is missing, and it's going to get there if we do a lot of exercises to improve it. But the good news is that you already have the intensity that a lot of players at your level lack. So you're doing good, and that is the reason why you get more exhausted than some of the guys you play who just kind of stand there.
Yeah, exactly. That's
You know what I'm saying?
frustration, because I can see it, and that's why I was like, after the match, I want to talk to you, because I need to. I was like, I need to improve this.
Am I doing something wrong?
Exactly.
Maybe I should be like that guy, you know?
No, then I switched everything, transition, workout, and focusing more on tennis.
Right.
And that's my goal. I want to be able to play with that intensity and level, and not be dead at the end of the match. You know what I mean?
So in today's lesson, we're going to focus just on fitness, on bringing you to the limit physically, and then we're going to work also on recovery in between. And we're going to do some exercise with the ball where you're hitting, but also some without the ball that you can do yourself. All right? So Bremen, now, we're going to do something that I call stationary intensity. So we're not going to be running a lot, but we're going to be going around this cone with proper footwork. So you're going to be hitting here like this. You're going to go side step, back, and then here like this. Very small steps, and we're going to do a set of 12. You're going to go cross court on all these, and we're going to do 3 sets of 12 with 20-second intervals in between. Okay, 20 seconds is the magic number of recovery time in tennis, in between anything. 2. Come again. 3. 20-second recovery. Okay, let's do it again. 12. And go 20-second break. And go again. Last one. Come on. 1. And again. 2. Come on. 12. Okay. Good, Bremen. Nice. Another one. Come. Okay, good try. And again. Come. 3 more. Good. You got 2 more. Good. We're going to do one big break as well. Okay. Like after maybe 5 to 10 minutes, we do one a little bit longer break of like 2 minutes. Okay. And in between each set, we keep it at 20 seconds. So you want to take a break now and get a drink? Yeah. Let's do it.
So it's true what you said before.
Yeah.
Because I'm not training with this intensity for tennis.
Right.
So how is that going to translate into the match if I'm not practicing it?
It won't.
You know what I mean?
You know, so if you're doing a stationary bike for 45 minutes, or if you're even doing like a Stairmaster for like 5 minutes really hardcore, it's not the same. I mean, you're gonna get in better shape.
Exactly.
But the tennis game in itself will still exhaust you.
Exactly.
For the reasons that I said in the beginning. It's the mental connected to the physical, and you're hitting the ball, which is a big difference. And also how you're moving on the court is very important in determining whether you're going to get more tired or less tired. Generally, when you play an attacking tennis and dictating, less exhausting than when you're defending and trying to stay alive in a rally. That's going to exhaust you more.
My first match with the latter guy, he was like pretty high level.
Yeah.
And I was so aggressive on the first set.
Yeah.
And then almost at the end of the set, I thought, I don't think I can play the second set. Because I just put in so much, and I'm not practicing for that.
So much energy.
So much energy. It's like, wow.
And that's maybe a story for another video on how to manage your energy levels, because there is some truth to being smart with your energy. For example, let's say that you're up 5-4 and the other guys serve. It's going to be super smart to give extra 5% of energy and intensity. Or common traps like a beginning of a second set when you've won the first easily or something. Those are traps where you want to make sure the intensity is up, because what sometimes happens is your mind is telling you to relax. All the tension goes away, it disappears because you're up in a match. And because now the fear of losing is gone and you have a calmness mentally, that sometimes translates into a lack of energy and a lack of intensity, and you start playing with less of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So those are the nuances of tennis that are super tricky, and that's something that is best coached when we do match play. If I observe something like that, slight dips in your energy levels throughout the course of a set or 2 sets, and I can tell you my observations, and that way you can improve it. Not necessarily something that you can work on in a hitting session like this, you know what I mean? So we're going to do 3 different lateral movements. One purely lateral here, one going diagonally backwards to the side, and one diagonally forwards to the side. So after each one of these forehands, one foot has to touch the center hash. And we're going to start you off with a deep one there. We'll do a set of 12 and then a 20-second break. And find the middle. Come. Good. Forward. And forward. All right. Good work. Deep. Good. Last one, right here. Excellent backhand, Bremen. Nice. Okay, Bremen, we did stationary footwork, we did lateral footwork. Now we're going to do forward-backward footwork. So I'm going to give you a short forehand and then a deep backhand, and you're going to be moving up and back. We'll do a set of 12, 20-second break in between. And then we'll reverse it and do a short backhand, deep forehand, okay? We go short forehand, come up, 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 up. And my deep backhand, deep. Come on, short, get up. Good, and go deep, come. Last one. Okay, all right. Yeah.
It's like short ball, some dip, some short. And the short, a lot of times, I don't want to go. So I leave it slides, put it back there. You know what I mean? Instead of going for it. Because I don't want to.
I get what you mean.
Save the energy. Or if I go and that hits at someone,
Yeah.
you just block it back.
Yeah.
It's like you save, you don't go, end up running more.
The worst way to save energy, just to respond to what you asked me, is to start being less intense and start just shoveling the ball back and not moving. Because what that's going to do, it's either going to result in you making mistakes or weak shots where the other person is going to have an advantage to be aggressive on you and you're going to lose. Okay, not good. So it gets very nuanced how you can save energy. Well, one way would be to go for more, trying to shorten the point. If you're completely exhausted, you maybe go for a more risky shot. You go for a winner, go for an ace. That's a way to maybe save energy. Let's give you one example. Let's say you're up 4-3, you're serving, and it's a long game, exhausted. Deuce, add, break point, pop, pop, pop. And now you hold this game and you're able to go up 5-3, but you're exhausted. And now in this return game, you don't want to give him an easy game, but you also maybe don't want to further exhaust yourself. So what can you do? You increase the risk and try to shorten the points. Maybe you hit a return and go to the net. Maybe you go for a return winner. Now the points are going to be shorter and you're not going to get as exhausted. Sometimes this results in you actually winning some points and maybe getting a break. And worst case scenario, you lose this game and now you're fresh to serve out the set at 5-4. That's just one example of many how you could save energy in a match, use it wisely to your advantage. Bremen, come on up to the net here. We covered a lot of ground already with some basic drills. Of course, we're not going to be able to cover every single movement in tennis. There are many movements that have to be practiced. So we're just going to go over the basics today. But we have to cover the net also. And the most exhausting movement in tennis is moving back for an overhead. That will exhaust you more than anything else. So we're going to do a drill where you're going to hit a forehand volley by closing. So getting as close to the net as possible. Then you're going to back up and hit an overhead. Then you're going to close on a backhand volley, then another overhead, and so on 12 times. All right, forehand volley, close, get up, 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 and overhead, back it up, back it up. And backhand volley, close, come up, overhead, come, side step. Good. Close, Bremen, come. Overhead. All right, take a break.
Oh my God.
That's brutal, huh? That is the most brutal one. But it's not as brutal as isolating the overhead by itself. That's what we're going to do next, okay? That's even worse. And come, 6. Come on, Bremen. 9. Good, Bremen. 11. Okay, last one. Come on. Yes, sir. Bremen, yes. Out of all the exercises we did, which one was the absolute worst?
You're right.
Right?
You're definitely. I can move my
This is the most exhausting exercise in the game of tennis. And the reason why is because all your energy is going in the wrong direction.
Exactly.
So it's very exhausting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I haven't done this in probably for so long.
Yeah, man. This is how you get in better tennis-specific shape. What I'm going to do now, instead of you having to do these exercises, I'm going to show them to you.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's a good time to stop.
Exactly.
Because we went to the limit. And your legs are dead. We've been doing this already now for over an hour, hour and 15 in the humidity in the sun. So let's call it. But I'm still gonna show you.
And I'll do a little video of you.
Yeah, you can record me. Yeah. I'm gonna show you the exercises that you can do without hitting the ball dry. So Bremen, do you remember that exercise you did in the beginning? You can do that exact same exercise dry. So you set a cone in the middle. And let's say you practice the lateral one. You do it for 30 seconds, okay? You run here, you swing above the cone, and then you come back around the cone like this. And then again, for 30 seconds. You set yourself a timer so you can hear it when it beeps when it's done. And you count how many hits you get over the cone. And maybe write it down in your notepad, all right? Then you move the cone, and you do a round where you go backwards like this, okay? Here. Then you do one where you're going forward, like this, for 30 seconds. all with 20-second break intervals, and then you do the same thing on the backhand side. I would do 1 to 2 sets because you're doing so many different ones. You can even get away with just doing 1 set of each. That's going to be good enough because you're going to be doing 3 and then 3 on the backhand. That's 6 already. That's a lot, man. 30-second each, 6 is a lot. Yeah. If you want to do 12, 2 each, that's insane. I mean, that's a great, that in itself is going to be a great exercise. Okay, Bremen, so remember your favorite exercise, the overhead? You can do that one dry too. You just tap the net with your racket, you back up, go here, and then run up, touch the net, and then again. Here, bam, you do that 12 times. If you want to do it with a volley, you can do it as well. You go volley, here, you back up, do overhead from the middle, and then you do backhand volley here, bam, overhead from the middle, and then forehand volley and so on. You do that one 12 times. If you want to do these specific exercises in the sand, they're even better. You build the muscle even more. Bremen, this is one of the oldest exercises in the book. It's called ball transport, and it works a little bit similar to some of those hitting exercises where you're moving up and back, but we're covering the entire dimensions of the court. So what you're going to do is set the stopwatch. You're going to do stopwatch on, and you're going to start. You're going to take this ball, you're going to put it over here in the middle. Now you're going to get this ball right here. You're going to put it right here like this, like that. You're going to put the ball from the middle, and you're going to put it here like this. And we're going to take this ball, you're going to put it here, and we're going to take this ball. I'm almost doing it for real. We're going to do it here. And now last one, you grab this one and you put it here like this. That's ball transport. If you can do it under 30 seconds, you got a great time on your hands. Bremen, I'm going to show you 2 more, but these 2 are very important, and I recommend that you do these at the very end because these are absolute killers, destroyers. The first one is the 30-second sidestep drill. And basically, you're going to use your right hand. You're going to touch the singles line and touch the tee line for 30 seconds. You're going to go like this, touch, and you're going to go here, touch, and you're going to go here, touch, and you're going to go here, touch, for 30 seconds. If you get over 25, you got a great score on your hands. And last but not least, Bremen, the absolute destroyer of all legs, the 45-second drill. All juniors that I've coached throughout these years, they all hate this one because when you're done, you're pretty much done. You have to go home and rest, okay? Because this one is hardcore. But basically, you want to try to touch the singles line as many times as possible in 45 seconds. You're going to run here like this, you're going to touch, and you're going to sprint to the other way. You're going to touch. If you want to slide into it, the kids like to slide into it. I can't, like this. You do that for 45 seconds and see how many touches you get. If you can get more than 17, you got a good score on your hands. Now, as far as the frequency of these exercises, you know, how often you should do them, I would introduce them to every practice session and do them at the very end. Do not do any of this as a warm-up for a match because you can exhaust yourself. Okay, so when you're done with tennis, if you want to pick maybe 2 or 3 of these and then swap them out so you do a different one every day of the week, that's going to be a great addition to your training and will improve your tennis-specific movements and also your tennis-specific stamina. Now, if you want to dedicate a whole session to these exercises, you can easily do this for 30 minutes or 45 minutes and run through the entirety of these exercises and do everything that I showed you. And then once you start doing these on a regular basis, there are other more nuanced footwork drills that we can start introducing. These are more of the entry level drills. We can get a little bit more creative in these drills as well. But for now, this will take you very far. If you were a high-level junior trying to get a national ranking, I'm telling you basically the exact same thing I would tell that junior. This can improve your tennis-specific fitness and stamina tremendously, but you know what happens a lot of times with juniors? They hate this, and they get lazy and they don't do it. You know, and they need a ball. They actually need a ball to run after to do this, because then it's intuitive, then it's natural.
Exactly.
A lot of times when people do this dry without the context of hitting the ball, they don't like it. That's why I like those first few exercises that I showed you where you are actually swinging the racket because it gives you some of that sensation.
Exactly.
And then of course, you know, when you and I work or if you're working with another coach, those hand feeding exercises where we can mimic a lot of these drills, that's really the best of both worlds. And place where a lot of these hand feeding drills originated from is Spain. And Spaniards are known to have the best footwork and some of the best stamina in the game of tennis because they put a high emphasis on hand feeding, which is phenomenal when it comes to working on footwork because you can increase the frequency of the shots. You can also manipulate the ball much easier with the hand. Of course, it's not perfect because you're missing the pace of the incoming ball. So it has to be an addition to training. It can't be the training it's in entirety where you're not hitting the incoming ball at all. But in any case, now you got a good foundation of what to do. But like I told you in the beginning, the good news is that you are moving because a lot of people aren't. And you have great intensity and it's only going to get better from here on.
Sure.
Okay?
Would you say, like, whenever I practice with the ball machine, for example, to always practice with intensity?
So that's an excellent question. Let's say that you're working on a specific technical element on your forehand. What I like to do is do a stationary shot. So the student only has to focus on that technical element that has to be changed. So they don't have to move at all. They're just standing and trying to, let's say, have the racket land in their left hand. It's something that you can do by itself for a while, and then hopefully with enough repetitions it'll remain there. But like I told you in the beginning, tennis technique without movement is absolutely meaningless. You might be able to get away with not moving up to a certain level, but eventually you pay the price because if you're not there where the ball is, you could have the best technique in the world. It's not going to matter. The answer to your question, yes, you always want to play with intensity. Even if the ball machine is shooting the ball right at you, you want to be on your toes, you want to be setting up. And even with the ball machine, you can recreate a lot of these drills that we did and make a very valuable, high-intensity, exhausting practice. Because think about it, like if you're not running out of breath and if you don't have this, you're not training right. Because in a match where you have a tough opponent, you're going to get in situations where you're like, so if you don't put yourself in those situations in practice, you're not going to be ready for them in a match. Would have been 18. You can't use the left hand. Right hand? And you don't want to spin in a circle. Here, and then here. You want to face the net. So you touch here. Touch like a backhand. Touch here, and then you go here. Yeah, so it's more technical.